Yo, ho, ho. What is going on, my Redux gang? How y'all doing today, man? Before we start part two of What If Mori Was in High School DxD, man, I really appreciate y'all, bro. Like, I was looking at, Virgil taught to me, bro, and that was doing okay. But then I decided to do High School DxD, and that shit got way more attention than I thought it would. So I must be doing something right, apparently. And I'm finally glad that I was able to actually get 13 subscribers off of that, bro. Like, small numbers. It's the small milestones that count for real. But I was like, dang, that shit did so good. I'm gonna do a part two. Well, I kind of have to since I started it. But y'all know what I mean, man. Like, I really appreciate y'all so much, man. And without any further ado, I'm gonna bring y'all part two of What If Mori Jin Mori was in High School DxD. This is a God of High School X DxD. There's a lot of X's, So without any further ado, I'm gonna let this intro play because I just kind of made a new intro, and we gonna do this shit.
Go, 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 go. And on the count of three, go, 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 go. And on the count of three, go, 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 go.
Now, as you all know, we left off with part one with Rias telling Issei to sit down and Sona telling Mori to sit down. And by popular vote, it looks like, Rias is going to be the main one that Mori is going to be, in. But the way I'm gonna do it is so basically, I'm about to explain it. So, they sit down and tell them that they've been resurrected as devils, but with Mori's case, it's different because he's been resurrected, but he's not a devil. He's entirely something else. It's like a devilish hybrid of some sort because he's the Monkey King, and nobody knows that, obviously. He don't even know that. The only person that knows that he's the Monkey King is Taien, which he's not going to tell him because he wants him to figure that out. And Serzetch's, Reese's brother, And so they're the only ones that know it, but Serzetch's doesn't know how strong Mori really is in his Monkey King form, like we all know he is. So, an evil pawn comes out, and instead of it being, like a metallic black, it's more like a metallic white, but it's an evil piece and it's a mutation piece. And that piece is then gone into Rias's board, her chess piece. And then after that, they sit up here and explain that, Kuo Academy is a school for devils and, other monsters that may come, not monsters, but like species and stuff. And so with that, that's when Sona says, even though that she revived Mori, she'll be expecting him to come help them out soon. Which, if I gotta make Mori get a harem, so he gonna have a harem between Rias's squad and Sona's squad. We finna get lit in this bitch, bro. Like we finna turn Mori up for real. But that being said, Sona and Tsubaki, which is Sona's queen, they both exit, the Grimmery household area, right? And that's when Issei tags along with Rias, Akano, Kiba, Kaneko, and him and Mori go along to, exterminate the rogue devil that was rolling around, and you know, lure. I can't even pronounce it, bro. Basically, the road devil was trapping people inside of an abandoned building and like eating them and killing them and shit, right? And so they went to go, subdue it, basically like exorcise it with Rias, explaining how evil pieces work, and how they're supposed to fight as a unit, like teamwork make the motherfucking dream work, basically. And so as they surround it, they begin to show off their abilities, which Rias explains. Kiba is up first with him, disappearing like, speed blitz style. You already know them impact frames are already there with the speed. You know what I'm saying? As he basically speed blitzes everything, with Rias saying that, Kiba is a knight in a chess game, basically. And that means his specialty is like speed, and he's a sword fighter. As he slices the arm off, but as he was about to get attacked, he blocks with this sword and then disappears from the eye. Backflipping, trying to look stylish and get some air time, but at the same time get some distance between him and the rogue devil. And then next up is next up is Kaneko. As they both the rogue devil looks at Kaneko, and she was kind of like swallowed, so her clothes kind of burnt off, revealing some miniature fun bags, if y'all know what I mean by that. I gotta use keywords because I don't know. I don't know. I be seeing some of these AIs be saying the most wildest stuff, and they be getting away with so much. So I'm gonna test the waters, and I'm gonna see how much I can get away with it. So yeah, it was some small fun bags that was kind of revealing, which made Mori feel kind of weird. But he's also a raging teenager that has hormones too. So Mori ain't that. But I just find it weird how at the end it was like he got with his sister, which that did not make sense. But hey, I didn't make it. I still enjoyed it overall, but this Mori's different. So he covered his eyes, trying to be respectful, as Issei over there, oh my, like goggling, bro. Like this man is goggling, like straight dazed by the motherfucking titties, bro. Yeah. Let's see how that goes. Straight dazed by it, like she over there, the rogue devil over there, rubbing all on it, squeezing them together, and Issei was like, oh my god, Issei over there like, look at them fun bags. He was like, I want to roll a nose, and then that's when she starts shooting, lasers out of the circle area, and yeah. They all begin to like, dodge and disperse, as Issei was like, wow, I was not expecting this. And so that's when she revealed her true form. And that's when the rogue devil starting to get pushed back, you know what I'm saying? As Kaneko starts throwing heavy things, and then gives the rogue devil a good, right hook to the gut, sending it flying back, which Rias explains that Kaneko is the rook. So that means that she's basically her attributes is defense and strength, which is Kaneko's special ability. And that introduces the next piece that Rias has, which is her queen, which is Akano. And she basically tells her that she is, the second, the second in charge, basically her right hand man, and her specialty is like lightning magic and stuff. I think I got that right. Hopefully, please don't get on my head, High School DxD fans. So she explains that she's the queen, and then that makes Rias the king, as the devil has been subdued. And before Rias kills it. She was like, any last words? And it was, she was basically saying that she'll never be as pretty as, her, and that her boobs will never be this big and all that other stuff. And then that's when Rias makes that big red circle, that magic circle, and banishes her to the gulag, bro. Like, she straight eviscerated her. And that left Mori and Issei in awe, which prompts them to both ask, what piece are they? And Rias says that, they're both pawns. And that's when Issei and Mori looked at each other and they were like, what? And then Mori was like, I don't think I should be a pawn. I'm way stronger than what you guys think I am. And so, that's when Issei was also like, yeah, I don't think I should be a pawn either. He was like, and then, basically, they're over here protesting about it. But they really didn't have a say-so. And, Mori's mutation piece is more, like, unique. So it's really up to like, Mori. And, we already know how strong he is. So, I'm going to keep that, like, under wraps for now. But in these few moments, they going to see how strong Mori really is. And so after they defeat the devil, they go back. And then that's when Issei gets his first job, or his first mission, which is to go out and put the flyers around town and around the school along with Mori. And then Mori doesn't complain about it, as he was like, let's see who could put on the most flyers. And so basically, like, Issei and Mori kind of look alike. Actually, they don't look alike. They only got the same type, the same kind of hair, basically. But, they've been around, like, Taien, Mori's grandfather, and Issei's parents know each other for so long, that it's like, they're like kind of brothers. And so, like, Issei always looked up to Mori, and he always knew that Mori was stronger since he does martial arts, and his grandfather's like the greatest martial arts in the world, because he is, like, I'm not gonna like lowball him. Oh, and speaking of Taijin, we gonna get to him soon. So they get to we flash back to Mori and Issei finally finishing, and Mori finished it about like 2 hours ago, but he was just accompanying Issei, waiting for him to finish. And they meet up with Rias, and then Rias asks, how come Mori, didn't go home after he finished. And he said, like, him and Issei are friends regardless of his extracurricular activities that he shouldn't indulge in. He and him are still friends, and they go way back. And he just accompanied him, and they met an interesting girl while they were out there. Her name was Asia Argento, and she's a nun, which prompts Rias to tell them to stay away from her, basically. And Mori didn't really understand why, neither did Issei, but they said, yes, ma'am, and they went about their day. And then that's when Mori and Issei go back, home, as since, like, Issei, basically the way that I'm gonna do it is like Taijin's estate is super duper big, bro. And so along his estate, that's where Issei's house is. So, like, Issei could always just travel up the estate and, basically go visit Mori. So that's how it is. And since Taijin, asked his parents to look after the estate, that's where they really been at, just the estate. So, technically, Issei and Mori do live together. And so, with that being said, as Mori goes to sleep, he closes his eyes, and then a new point of view opens as Taien, the man, the myth, the legend, the motherfucking GOAT of God of High School, in my opinion. Mori's the GOAT too. Daiwi Han is the GOAT too. But personally, Taien is the motherfucking beast. That's like the old man, right? And so Taien is on an unknown island, which he told Azazel, the basically the leader of the fallen angels, to meet him. And then that's when other species pull up, like the devils from other households that I will explain later. They pull up, and because last time when Mori was a kid, flashback, that's when we flash back to Taien in his younger days, because when he got into the DxD universe, he aged backwards a little bit, so that gave him even more time to perfect his renewal taekwondo and other fighting styles he knows. And so that's when he first met like the general of the fallen angels, and he beat his ass with ease. No magical powers or nothing, straight like nature energy. Like they can manipulate nature energy with their moves, which is fire to me. So that's when the devils and the fallen angels and even the vampires back in that day, try to team up to take down Taien, but they just couldn't do it. And that's when they had a neutral agreement to not bother Taien and steer away from him, because that's when they, like back in the day, they really did try to snatch Mori's Taijian's grandson when he was still in that crystal. And so he wasn't going for it, and so he beat all their asses with Taien and Azazel drawing it to a draw along with Sir Zetch's. As we flash back to where they're standing at, and it's a island, and basically Taien sits there with his arms folded, and he's one with nature right now. The birds are on his chest, not this chest. The birds are on his shoulder as he's over there, just stretching and practicing basic stances, not exerting too much energy, with the conversation going like this. And he looks at Azazel and he says, "You finally shown up, you old coot." And Azazel is like, "Now is that a way to greet a rival of yours?" And he was like, "You know what? It's not a great rate." And he said, "It's not a great way to meet, greet my rival, but it's a great way to fall to your death if you send fallen angels after my grandson and they killed him. Luckily, he's still alive, as it'll take more than that to bring him down." And so Azazel was like, as much as he would want the credit of taking Taijian's grandson down and him down, he can't do it without him exerting all his might. And even if he does do that, he knows that Taien won't really ever go 100% unless it's tent to kill. And so he was like, but other than that, he did not send anybody to go after Mori, nor did he order anybody to go after Mori. So Taien was like, "So why do your fallen angels not understand the chain of command and not to go after my loved one, especially if we made that pact so long ago that it will be a neutral force? I know there's a war brewing, and I don't want any part of it. I know that Mori has an evil piece, and it's up to him if he wants to fight into that war or not. But until he makes that decision himself, do not come after my grandson again, or else." And then as Azazel gets in his fighting position, Azazel, wanting to be the smart ass, says, "Or else what?" as he gets in his fighting stance, knowing that it's about to be a heated sparring session. That's when Taien gives that look, and as he looks at Azazel with his back turned, you can see a dragon like a dark black dragon, and you know how like with his, you know, it was nothing but white in his eyes, you know, the pupils disappeared. And then he said, you'll meet the man that I was years ago. He'll meet the real dragon, the great dragon of the West, basically, you know, his old title from the GOH universe. And I'm just throwing that in there, you know. Only OGs really know about that. And so that's when Azazel begins to rush at him. And then that's when as Taien uses, you know, a basic renewal kick to try to hit Azazel, he disappears, and then he you know, flaps his wings, which soldiers, fallen angel soldiers, you know, come out and try to fight Taien. And then Azazel said, while you were away and we had our, you know, while we took a break, you know, basically, you know, while it was like some years and gaps of years, he took his time to train and get stronger. And he also trained angels in martial arts, which Taien laughs as he said, this should be fun, as the first male angel tried to, like, you know, use a karate kick. And then that's when Taien met his kick with his kick getting pushed back with force, and Taien does like a spinning back kick, you know, kicking him, like, and then kicking the fallen angel basically and making him fly back through the forest that, you know, they're on. And so that's when Taien gets you know, jumped by 3 other angels, and that's when Taien uses the renewal roundhouse kick as the air like sucked in and then pushed out with very ferocious force, like blowing everything back and kind of like making a crater in the ground. And you know, that's when Taien tells Azazel if he really thinks that he's been slacking off all those years after they closed it to a draw, then he's highly mistaken, because even when it was a draw, he did not use his full power. And only then he only even got stronger, which that's when Azazel said, prove it, as he uses as basically a sacred gear that he made, you know, the sacred gear that he made to, like, you know, the balance breaker thing that he made, inspired off the great red dragon Drake. And so that's when Azazel said, I didn't want to use this so soon, but you're the perfect person I could test this on. And so that's when, you know, he suits up. And then as they were about to meet, that's when Taien said, good, because I finally been waiting to use this move on somebody. And then that's when he said, renewal taekwondo recoilless kick. And as you know, Azazel punches, he misses. He barely misses, as Taien used enough energy, just enough to dodge it. And then that's when Azazel was met with a kick. But the kick was so fast, it didn't touch him. You already know what this recoilless kick does. It warped. This shit warped the space around. This shit warped the space around him. And then as soon as the warp, you know, came back into reality, basically, that shit made like a huge ass explosion. And so, yeah, Azazel gets, like, bro, that shit gets demolished. If it wasn't for that suit, Azazel would have been not on his deathbed, but he would have been, like, you know, critically injured for real. And so he flies back as he, you know, catches himself with the armor suit, like, damaged, and it starts crumbling off. As Azazel said, fine, have a taste of this. And paying homage to God of High School, Azazel brings down this huge sword as Taien remembers that Nox did the same thing with Taien remembering that he's not gonna, like, sever his arm for this time, as he knew how to kick properly after he just done the recoilless kick. And so he does it again with that giant sword coming, as Sir Zetchus is watching, watching the screen, as watching them fight, basically, with him and Greyfilla, Greyfia, I think that's how you say it. With him and his wife, him and his queen, basically watching, and Sir Zetchius is saying, he Taien and Azazel gotten stronger, but so has he, because I'm telling you, bro, like after they fought so long ago, it inspired Sir Zetchius and the fallen angels to get stronger, and some of the fallen angels to get stronger. So everybody, not everybody, but like some of the demons and the people that participated in that Cold War, Taijin inspired them to get stronger. So as the sword comes down, Taijin was like, this looks familiar, as the flashback from Nagata High School. For all my Nagata High School readers, you already know what this is a flashback to. And so he says, I really hate to change the environment or it ruins such, ruin nature's, beauty. And then he says he's sorry about it. But as he does, he stomps his feet, and his feet just gathers force with the ground cracking beneath him as he gets into a stance. An white aura, envelops him, as the aura begins to turn like a whitish black. And so his feet begins to get covered in like some nature energy, but his is like black and white, which gives off duality. And so as he does that, he brings up his foot, and he was like, renewal taekwondo, basic kick, recoilness, as he kicks the tip of the blade. And then he says, basic one, Taijin original, kick of the black dragon. And so with that, a black dragon envelops in his foot and kicks the blade, as a black dragon basically takes the blade head on and destroys the blade. As that kick gives off so much energy, it like looking down at the island, like if you like straight down, all the trees are gone. It's like a huge crater, bro, just going forward. Like this man Taijin rearranged the landscape with the kick. And so that's when Taijin said he let off enough steam and that he's good now. He was like, if you want, he could accompany them. They could go out for a drink, and then that's what they do. It was basically like a warning. Azazel knew it was a warning, and at the same time, Taijin knew that Azazel, he wasn't responsible for it. So Azazel tells him that whoever is probably most likely conspiring against him or going against his wishes. So he'll see to that. And they begin to go out with a drink, and we fade to black. Now we pick up to where Issei and Mori go back to school. And so they, everything goes to canon. They go to school, they go about their day. And that's when Issei and Mori run into Asia again, right? And so they basically ignored what Ria said. And so Mori and Asia, hung out with Asia with Issei saying that he has to be stronger because he doesn't want anything to happen to her again, and that he needs to be ready, with him and Mori being over his training basically and doing the basics, as Mori is like giving him basic workouts. And that's when Issei said that he wanted to learn renewal taekwondo, which he says that is probably not the best thing for you to learn, because any regular person will probably die trying to learn it, and it takes immense, it's really like intent, like it takes a huge toll on their body, like it's really stressful on the body. But he can't, he says he doesn't want to do that without his grandfather's permission, but he can give him some workouts and some workout regimens that he can suggest him to do with that's what they do. And then he realizes how weak Issei really is, as you know, with this, despite, in spite all that, Issei still tries to push himself, as Mori was like, if you want to be a better fighter, just fight somebody that's stronger, and then just try to learn from, how they fight. With Issei was like, I can't fight you. You're like a total martial artist badass. And your grandfather is like a total martial artist badass. He beat all the other martial arts that I could learn with his. And you're telling me that I can't learn the martial arts that he does and you? Because he was like, because it's really too stressful on your body. He was like, it's even stressful on my body. That's why I have to keep training. He said, I may be my grandfather may be the strongest martial artist, and I am too, but I want to surpass him. So for now, I'll only keep the second strongest. I have respect for my grandfather, so he will always be the first strongest to me. Even if I surpass him, he will still be the first strongest to me, unless he gives me that title himself. And so after they finish their training, he noticed that Issei's making little progress, but hey, good progress is better than no progress. And that's when they also meet up with Asia again. And so, with that being said, they meet up with her, and then Asia goes on about her day with Rias sending time skip. Rias sends Issei and Mori on another summon quest, a quest for somebody that, since they got summoned. And so basically they pull up to the house, and they see a room, and as they enter the room, they step in some liquid, and it's blood, with Asia and a priest, Frederick. I think it's like Frederick or Fred something. I know it's like Fred, but I don't know how to pronounce his name. But y'all know which priest that is. The crazy bastard priest, right? The crazy crazed priest that's like on a devil killing spree, basically. And so, everything goes to canon, how Issei basically loses the fight, but is able to like get Asia away. But since Mori's there, he's gonna, the priest has more of a tough time trying to deal with Mori, since Mori is a very, very seasoned fighter. And the priest says that he was like, oh, so we got a little devil bastard that's a fighter, huh? How do you like this sword? And so he tries to stab Mori with the sword, but that's when Mori uses the kick, and that's when the priest went the guard high. But that's what Mori wanted him to do, as he uses his leg to get in between the guard and brings his guard down, and then kicks the shit out of, is it like Seafred or something like that? It's one of those two. And he kicks the dog shit out of him, which makes him yelp and retreat, with Asia saying that she had a place that she could stay that's safe. And she goes back to the church, basically. And that's when Rias doesn't know about it yet. So, we're gonna do another time skip with with Mori and Issei meeting back up with Asia again, right? And they go hang out and all this other stuff. Like, it's like a double date, basically, with Asia and Mori, as she is very fond of both of them. But you already know Mori trying to, not Mori, but Issei already, trying to do whatever he do. And so as Issei is training alongside with Mori watching, Asia basically heals him, And so that's when Yuma comes out, aka Renair, or is it Renari or Renair? I think that's how you say it. Yuma comes out, the fallen angel, and she taunts Issei, as she does her Yuma voice, which makes Issei flash back and get all chills in his spine, basically. But she takes out the spear of light, and so that's when what is it, when Issei, finally was able to use his sacred gear, as it was a boost. And then as she taunts him how she's saying it's only a twice critical sacred gear, which is really not true, but she's not knowledgeable in that. So if we wouldn't understand, we wouldn't expect her to understand the complexity of how broken that sacred gear is. But uh basically, everything goes to canon as he boosts his power. Issei gets stabbed by a spear of light again. In the most hilarious, funniest way, bro. Like, he was getting all this power, and then he just gets stabbed. And then that's when Issei pulls it out, and then Asia heals him with him running forward. And then that's when Mori said, "No, Issei, get back," as he catches the spear of light, which burns him, and throws it to the side, which, lets off a huge explosion. And then that's when Yuma was like, "So you're alive?" And then she's talking to Mori. And so that's when she takes out another spear, and then starts, fighting with the spear, as she went under training to take Mori a lot more serious, because it was her cockiness that almost led to her death. And so Mori was dodging and dodging as he faked out a kick and then went low, sweeping her legs. And then that's when Mori used a low kick, renewal low kick, bottom choke hook, basically kicking her in the stomach, and it made her fly back, but she caught herself using the spear of light to block the full front of the attack. And so she threw it down in front of Mori, which Mori blocks, as another explosion comes off, with his clothes kind of like ripping and burning, but not too much. And so that's when she used the explosion as cover to basically nab Asia, as Asia looks back at Mori and Issei, as she tells them thank you for being their friends. And as they disappear, Issei screams no. He was like, "Damn it, I was too weak again." And then that's when Mori just stood there in silence, because he didn't know what to say in those types of moments. And so fast forward, time skip to the sunset. That's when Rias tells Issei to never see Asia again, or don't go near churches, because that's how you could start like a war between holy knights, holy priests, and devils. And there's some uncharted territory that they just don't need to be going to. And Issei disagrees with that, with him saying that maybe this whole parage, or bro, I can't even say it right. You know what I mean, bro. Like, I really got to learn how to say that word, but y'all know what I mean. He said, maybe this household isn't right for me, because I refuse to leave her. She's a friend of mine. And so that's when Rias slaps him, as he says that she can't let anything happen to her precious Issei or her precious Mori. With Mori saying, as much, as it pains me to say it, Issei's right. But, I concur. And so, Issei says that she doesn't want to lose her pawns, that's all. And then that's when Rias explains the true nature of pawns with Rias saying that the pawns can take on the abilities and attributes of the rook, the knight, the queen, and the king, if allowed by the king, which is called a promotion, which grants them all their powers. But same goes with Mori, but Mori doesn't have access to he has access to the promotion, but his power set is different. And tangent, before y'all ask, no, his Monkey King powers are not exclusive to the promotions. No, he will get that himself, right? He's going to be like basically the strongest pawn in like high school, DxD history. But we're gonna get there. All right, let's get back to the what if. And so, after that, Akano comes in with basically everybody agreeing with Rias and saying that, maybe it's time for them to basically leave. And so they have a meeting, and that's when Issei goes on to his room in there, basically. And so that's when Mori jumps through the window as he sees Issei trying to sneak out. And then Issei says, "Mori, if you're trying to stop me, then don't stop me. I know I can't beat you, but this time I'll do anything I can to make sure you can't stop me." And Mori was like, "Stopping you? I agree with you, Issei. Let's go save her." And he was like, "Oh, that's fun." He was like, "Oh, hell yeah. Now I really have a total badass. We really don't need Kiba or Kanako." And that's when they come out of nowhere saying that's how you feel about us, Issei? We were still coming to help you anyway. And so, Issei apologizes for his comments as they begin to go towards the church, and that's when Akano and Arias, still agree to help Issei out with Issei, Mori kicks down the doors of the church as he sees the priest that was there before that they ran into, and they introduced themselves as the priest was like having his tongue all out while talking, basically. And so he says that he's back with vengeance, and so he's gonna kill all the devils that are in his church, basically. And so with that being said, I'm gonna leave this what if off, and we're gonna pick up part 3 where they begin to rescue Asia from the corrupted holy place and the fallen angels. I want to thank y'all guys for so much, man. Like, I just hit 13 subs, bro, and part 1 of God of High School Mori is going crazy, bro. I really was not expecting this. Maybe I need to do more High School DxD, High School DxD, what ifs, man. So, I really just appreciate y'all for so much, bro. I love the love y'all giving me. I love interacting with y'all. If y'all, I saw y'all interacting with the poll, man. And, that's why I, and so far, people want Mori to be on Reese's team. And, there was a few people that did want Mori to be on Sona Satiri. Sona is bad too. So, but majority wins. But to make both of y'all happy, to explain Mori's evil pieces, right? Mori's evil piece allows him to switch between households. But so if Sona needs him, he could be a placeholder. He's a placeholder, but he's still on a team, so he's like a placeholder on a chess piece, right? And so he could do that for both households. So that's why I like Mori's unique piece so much. And that's pretty much it, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I might pull up a poll, or you know what, y'all can leave in the comments which girl should be in Mori's harem first, or who y'all want him to be with at the who do y'all want him to end up with in High School DxD, or if y'all just want him to have multiple girls and stuff. So y'all decide that. I already have 2 so far. Obviously Konako's gonna be up there in the harem, and I think it's gonna be Riser's sister, not the younger one, but the older one that fell for Issei, bro. Riser's sister when we get into the rating games. So yeah, they're gonna be up there. And so there might be a few more y'all might want. So just let me know in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about the what ifs, if it's good. if it's bad, if I need to work on some things. But I really appreciate all the love I'm getting from y'all. And, without any further ado, this is Redux. And this is the end of part 2 of What If Mori Was in DXD. Have a blessed day, and I'm signing off.